Hi, Soul Family. Welcome back to my channel. We talk about all things to heal, grow, and evolve. And today, this is part 2 of the 7 Hermetic principles. And this one, we're going to be talking about the law of correspondence. So I have my handy dandy book, the Kabbalion, here. And we're going to go through each and every Hermetic principles. There's 7 of them. So this is the second one, the law of correspondence. And you will see it. I created a playlist for all 7 of these principles for y'all to go back and watch it whenever you need to. So if you are new here, welcome. My name is Sage, and we talk about all things about spirituality, metaphysics, and African history. So if this is what you're into, something that you're interested, then just keep on watching. Okay, so we're talking about the law of correspondence, and this one is an immutable law, which means that it cannot be changed. So the law of correspondence talks about, and it quotes, as above, so below. So below as above. If you're into spirituality, or you probably heard this many times, you've probably heard this quote so many different ways. There's so many different sayings for this, not even just spirituality, but even in like different religions, in Christianity, on earth as it is in heaven, it's one of the same. So what this talks about, there must be some type of harmony. There must be some type of agreement, correspondent between the 2 different realms of the physical and the spiritual, because there is no such separation between the 2, because the universe comes from the same source of energy. Whatever is happening in the physical, it reflects the same thing what's happening in the spiritual, and it goes both ways. It's like a mirror, it reflects one another. So it's like the physical and the spiritual world is one of the same, but they're on 2 different planes. The same structure you see at the deep bottom of the ocean, the depths, the darkness that is there, is the same darkness that is up there in the cosmos and the stars and the ethers. I saw an interesting post, this was years ago, I saw an interesting post on NASA, how they were interviewing this lady, and this woman said something along the lines of the same construction, the same makeup that is on our skin is the same type of composition that is within the stars. And I thought that was very interesting because it reminded me right back to this law of correspondence, as above, so below. The physical body, our composition, is the same makeup of the stars out there in the higher dimensions and the ethers. And also, just to give another example, the same genetic makeup, our cellular DNA, all the way down to the atoms, is the same makeup that is out there in the universe. It's the same type of creation. So all in all, we are a reflection of the universe, and the universe is a reflection of us and everything living in this world. So in other terms, you can say that we are created in God's image, and every living being has some sort of God creation in it. There's God in everything. There's God in the trees, God in the ocean, God in the mountains. There's a version of God within all of us as human beings, as animals, as insects. There is a version of God within all of these different things, all these different hierarchies, because it all came from one source. It's a reflection. I want to give another example of Stranger Things. If y'all seen Stranger Things, you know what I'm talking about, is the upside down. So in this upside down is pretty much like a alternate dimension of like the human world. So it's an alternate dimension. It's funny enough because I don't really remember the whole scene, but I think they went through a tree, which is connecting to source, connecting to life. So they went through a tree, and then it allowed them to enter into the upside down, which is like an alternate dimension of Earth. So it looks like Earth, but it's literally flipped upside down. But it's a lot darker. It's a lot darker. It's a very eerie energy. It's a very lower dimension, a lower vibration. It looks kind of haunted. It's not a place that you would want to live, pretty much. But that is following the law of correspondence, as above, so below. So bringing it down to the earth, we live in the 3D, which is the 3rd dimension, that is earth. And there's higher dimensions above the 3D that looks just like earth, but the only difference is the polarities. So it looks like earth, but it's brighter, it's warmer, it's more alluring, it's beautiful. You see the bright skies. There's probably different colors that we as 3D beings are not even able to contemplate because it's of a higher dimension. So it's all of these great, wonderful things in a higher dimension, but it looks just like earth, but it comes with all these higher polarities. Corresponding to that, there's lower dimensions. The 1st and 2nd dimension also looks just like earth. However, this one is more colder, it's darker, probably dirtier. These places have no life force. There is no life energy. The sky is never shining. The sun is never shining. Like, it's always dark because there is no life. It pretty much looks abandoned. The soil is not rich. There's no plants. The trees have no leaves on it. It's very abandoned. However, it looks just like Earth. So the higher dimensions and lower dimensions are one and the same, but with different polarities. So we live in the upside down because Earth is a 3D dimensional realm we live in. And Earth is considered a lower dimension, is considered a hell state. So we are living in the upside down. So let's bring it down to our everyday lives. The law of correspondence shows up in our everyday lives because what we think of ourselves within us reflects on how it shows up externally in our outside world. Our subconscious minds and our external reality corresponds to one another. So the above, this is our conscious, this is our awareness, this is our belief systems, things that we agree with. As above, so below. So our below is our subconscious mind because it's below the conscious. These are our deep inner thoughts. These are our deep hidden things about ourselves, hidden traumas, hidden triggers about ourselves that is deep within our core. The subconscious collects all of these things, and sometimes it's hidden and it's deep within us. And sometimes it becomes so suppressed we're not even aware of these thoughts, we're not even aware of these emotions or aware of these belief systems. However, it will still reflect back on the external. It will still reflect back on our everyday lives. So your deep inner core thoughts will reflect how you live your life on the outside world. And going back to my first video, the law of mentalism, that is why it's the first law. It's the base, it's the foundation, because everything is created from this law of mentalism because the universe is mental. It reflects all other laws pretty much. So your inner verse within you reflects the outer verse here. And both of these inner verses and outer verses connect to the universe because it comes from the same source of energy. Okay, so now we have all this information. So how do we apply this to our lives? What do we do about it? The first thing is to always build self-awareness because self-awareness is key. If you know better, you do better. So taking note of your thoughts, taking note of your inner dialogues, inner conversations you have about yourself, or if you have them with other people in your own mind. Notice, what are you saying about yourself? What are you saying about other people? If something doesn't go right or as you thought it would be, are you judgmental? Are you self-critical? Are you harsh? What type of words are you saying to yourself? And think about these words and take a moment to write them down so you can actually see the words that you're telling your mind. These are the words that you're telling your subconscious to believe about yourself. And that is in return reflecting on the outside world. So after you write these words down, after you write these thoughts that you're having, then it's time to flip it. This is what we call transmutation. So you're flipping these negative words, you're flipping these negative dialogues, conversations, and you're changing the energy of something of a higher vibration. So let's say, for example, you say, I can't do this because I'm not good enough. Take that thought, write it down, and then you transmute that energy. So you write that word down, and then right next to it, you can say something along the lines of, I need more information, or I need more time to reach my goals. So that's just an example I just made up. So something along that lines of that. So you're taking a negative thought and you're transmuting that energy to something more of a higher vibration, to align with the goal, to align with the thing you're trying to do. And in return, that will reflect what you're seeing on the outside. And so with practice, your brain will automatically do this with no effort. Another way to apply this to your life is your dreams, because your dream state corresponds to your awakening state. When we go to sleep, our subconscious mind takes over. And this is when our soul leaves our body to go to different dimensions. And depending on what our subconscious mind is vibrating at, will most likely depend on the dimension that we're going to be experiencing in these dreams. So notice what type of dreams you're having. Is it constant nightmares? Are you afraid in your dream? Is someone chasing you? Are you running away from something? Or is it something along the lines of a message or a symbol? Where are you in your dream? What are you seeing? What kind of symbols can you pinpoint? Just taking note of what you're seeing in the dream state, because what you're seeing in the dream state is most likely what is happening to your soul in that dimension. Everything starts in the mental, everything starts in the spiritual. What you're seeing in the dream state, the symbols that you're seeing, what you're experiencing, in return will reflect what you're experiencing here in the physical. So the type of dreams that you're constantly having, sometimes we get dreams that are as messages, we get dreams that are signs from spirit. But if you're constantly having nightmares, you're constantly having bad dreams, you're constantly having a repeating dream that just won't go away, that is telling you the vibration that you're at. So it shows up in the dream state because that is how you're operating in the awakening state, because they correspond with one another. Because we can never hide from our subconscious, because our subconscious collects all of our hidden traumas, it collects our triggers, it collects every single thought we've said about ourselves, it collects every emotion, it collects every imagination, it collects everything that we have done and experienced and seen and thought of in our entire life. So it's not something it's not something we can hide from. It's not something we can run away from. It just comes down to working with your subconscious mind and wiring it to work for you, wiring it for your favor. It comes down to when you're having these thoughts, not allowing it to trigger you, not allowing it to take over to the point where like you're just giving into these thoughts, but it's more about neutralizing it. It's more about neutralizing your emotions, neutralizing your feelings, not allowing these negative thought forms to become your actual belief system overall. All right, that is all I have for this video. I hope it finds you well. I hope you learned something from it. If there's any other particular things you want me to make a video about, or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.